the Fulton County Marching Band exhibition, and we're just delighted to be joined by Michael Kobito, who is going to be here on the adjudication panel. He's a trumpet player that plays in the Terra Winds. He's from this area, so we've got him as an experienced drum major.
That's right.
And that you're going to kind of give us an idea. What do you look for with the drum majors?
Well, at this point of the year, we're still refining the show on the field. The percussion is still trying to line up things from front to back, and it's really trying to figure out how's the drum major helping the timing on the field. Are they watching the center snare's feet? Are they making sure that we're not phasing? It's about just making sure that the drum major is clear, has a good time, has appropriate gestures, and is helping the band be successful.
Good. Now that's pretty concise. Holy cats! How long were you a drum major?
I was drum major at the University of Georgia for 2 years, and then I've been helping, clinicking, and judging drum majors for the last 4 years. So, not that I'm a seasoned veteran or anything like that, but I've been around the block. I've led a band of 450 kids in the Red Coat Band, so I know how phasing happens, and I've hopefully figured out how to try to prevent that in the future.
Good, because that's a problem that every person who has ever been in a marching band is hoping to find somebody that's got the answer to that.
Right, you take that metronome away and it's like, oh my gosh, where's the time coming from? And hopefully the drum major can kind of hold everything together.
Do you remember the first time it started to phase on you when you were a drum major?
It was probably
Do you remember that?
band camp at 2012 at the University of Georgia, and half the band was at one tempo, the other band was at the other tempo, but they were together with each other, which was it was cute, but it was not right. So it was work to do, and luckily I was able to get some chances to try to figure out how to troubleshoot and fix that. And we did.
Exactly. That's cool. So what are the types of things that you? I suppose it depends on what they're doing. It's contextual, right? Sure. But usually, even in like beginning conducting class, when you get in front of an ensemble, the first time something goes not the way you want it, your inclination is to start being huge, right? And usually the thing that's more clear and precise is something that's much smaller.
Yeah, your tendencies as a conductor is, they're not watching me, so I must get bigger. Right. But the truth of the matter is, if they're not watching you or focused on you, if you make your pattern smaller and more clear, they're going to have to watch. Otherwise, they won't be able to see you. So just being able to fight those internal tendencies to what's going to actually help the ensemble. Hopefully on the tapes that the students receive, they'll be able to hear some tips that are going to guide them in the right direction.
So do you also address things that take place with multiple drum majors and ensemble issues?
Absolutely. Making sure that they're watching the center drum major at all times is of the utmost importance. You know, it's really easy to get emotional and into the music, and you start looking at the band on the side podium, and then the band starts to tear, and you look back, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm half a beat behind the center drum major. And that's where a lot of the phasing happens too. So just making sure that we're aware of those tendencies and fighting them the best that we can.
You bet. That's great. So as you look at this time of year, this is pretty early.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, are you expecting to see a number of things that take place here that you're going to be able to give some really solid advice as to what they can do to make their performance better?
Yeah, at this point I'm anticipating some tempo things that we kind of touched on here earlier, but I'm anticipating some of those tempo problems and the addressing the looking at the center drum major and all those things, but also how can you help show what the music is supposed to sound like? How can you gesturally get the effect that you're hearing and you're wanting to hear? So hopefully I'll be able to talk through some points of clarity, both tempo-wise, but also musically as well.
Let me just follow up with just one other aspect here, and that is that you had talked about how important it is for you as a drum major to do your job. We have, with many marching contests and festivals that take place, we frequently will find that we have trophies for best drum majors. So the drum majors now become an entity that is competing with all of the other drum majors. Is it a part of the show, or are they actually utilitarian in doing what they're doing? You know, I would think that there isn't any drum major corps, a group of 3 or 4, that would do a great job and win the trophy if the band didn't do well.
Right, the success of the drum major really is based on how the band performs. And, you know, as a drum major, you're hopefully a leader, and you're a student leader, and you're there to serve the band. So at the end of the day, it's not about the trophy that the drum major gets. It's about the success that you hope to lead your band to. So, you know, the whole competition with drum majors is something that's been kind of controversial lately about whether or not they should even be ranked or competing against each other, because at the end of the day, the goal is for the band to be the most successful as possible, and that really can start from the drum majors being servant leaders and not trying to beat other people.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, nice can of worms, Joe. I like that. I heard that over here.
Open it up.
Yeah, well, but it really is, and I thought
I
that
agree.
was really interesting that, you said that there's still some discussion about whether or not that's a good idea, and that the drum majors need to be a servant to the ensemble, okay? That's all very interesting and very fresh. I'm delighted to hear that, because I do think that the success of the ensemble is paramount.
For sure.
No matter what it is. You can be the greatest conductor in the world, but if you're not doing your job,
Right.
and that the band falls apart, okay, you're not going to win the trophy and be proud of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too true. And it's the stuff that we do on the field too. When you're at home in your band room, who you going to ask to help the students get the chair stacked? You're going to ask your drum major to take control of that. Who you going to ask to make sure that everything's cleaned up out on the buses when you get home from an away game? You're going to ask your drum majors to spearhead that. And if you go out on the field and you're not expecting your drum majors to be that leader that's going to serve others, then why are they in the job? That's a really good question.
Good.
And I think servant leadership on the podium is the most important thing, not the trophy that they might take home at the end of the day.
So see, tuba players don't necessarily have to clean the buses.
No, we make the
They
mess.
make the mess. That's right.
And he's proud to say it.
Yep. Taking ownership. That's good. That's good.
That's great. Michael, what a delight to have you here.
Thanks for having
You
me.
speak so well, and you're very eloquent in the way that you approach this. And that's great, because we get an idea from your perspective as to what you're going to be looking for.
sure.
And I think that works well.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Pat Sheridan and I, we were never drum majors. Pat isn't tall enough, and I'm not thin enough. And so that makes a huge. Pat could probably have worn a taller hat.
Just to get over that. That's
They
it.
give you a podium, so that
I
helps.
had hair at one point that was
Oh wow,
fluffy.
I don't remember that.
No.
That's okay. I'm washing more face every day. Thank you so much,
Thanks for having
Michael. What a pleasure.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Likewise.